Well, it says Lamborghini. It's got a bull on the front. Oh my word, it's a Lamborghini tractor. Welcome to Lot 76 Cars at the Bicester Scramble, January 2025. We've got snow, we've got supercars, we've got -1 and classics thrown into the mix. Let's go and take a look what we can see. With 970cc and 47 brake horsepower, we've got a proper unicorn. We've got Suzuki GB's own Suzuki WizKid. These were imported in relatively low numbers. Japanese still restricted on sales at this stage of the game. Said rear engine, rear wheel drive. What an epic little car that is. Oh, that's lovely. Isn't it nice to see that amongst all the supercars and other special cars here today? Shout out to Suzuki GB for bringing that one along. Epic. Oh, it's lovely to see this. Personally, remember watching these on the TV on World of Sport, I think it was, back in the 70s and early 80s. Yes, of course it's a Mark II Escort, but it's the example driven by Ari Vatten and co-driven by Dave Richards, who went on to set up ProDrive in the full iconic Rothmans livery. Looks like it's fresh off the Acropolis Rally. What's that with the BDA engine in? Incredibly successful competition history. Oh, I'd like to see that one. I'd love a go in that. I bet that's something else, isn't it, guys? So this is a very subtly modified and a very late Mercedes C124 coupe, pillarless coupe. I've driven one of these back on the channel a while ago, but not quite in this spec. Probably this is either an early AMG before they were part of Mercedes, or a Lorenza conversion. Looking at it, body kit really works well, doesn't it? Stratton supplied many of these. It's got Stratton number plates on it. Maybe it's something they did. I suspect it's far from a standard car, but in this lovely blackberry colour, it absolutely looks a treat with those beautiful colour-coded, what are they, monoblock alloys? Put it in the comments if you know exactly. But that is lovely, isn't it? So out of all the supercars and the Aston Martin range, this is probably the one to have today, isn't it? It's the Aston Martin DBX, their four-wheel drive SUV that's built in St Athan in Wales, I think. Apex grey, they are reliably assuring me that's the colour. And we'll try and have a quick look inside this one. I've sort of checked whether we can have a look. It's about the closest I'll ever get to one. If I can work out how to open it, that is. There we go. Actually, in this black trim, I'm not sure, black probably works with this Aston Martin script there. Full touch screen, thankfully. A good measure of buttons rather than everything on the touch screen. Beautiful wingback seats there. We'll just have a quick look in the back whilst we can, shall we? Might be the closest I ever get. If I can work out how these handles work. Hidden handles, door handles. Actually, you know, compared to something like a Ferrari Purosangue, you've got a reasonable amount of space there. Probably you could get 3 across the back, although I suspect it's better with 2. Very lovely level of appointment in the back, yeah. Put me down. I'll happily take one of those home today. Beautiful. So not your typical race car. This has been prepared for Mission Motorsport. It's a Jaguar XF, and it's been prepared by Ray Mallock Engineering, and people who know Ray Mallock will know that they prepared many touring cars over many years and had great success with Nissan in the late 90s. This one's had a few battle scars near the front, a little bit of touch parking gone on there, but thankfully the splitters survived. So shout out to Mission Motorsport there. Now it's lovely to see one of these Ford Puma. It's the Thunder Special Edition. That's lovely, that one, isn't it? So fresh from the Top Gear comparison, it's my first look up close at the new Land Cruiser 2.8 litre 4-cylinder car. Some criticism of it only being a 4-cylinder, but that's probably a bit churlish. It's absolutely lovely, isn't it? I don't know if this one's open. Maybe it isn't. No, it's not. Interesting colour scheme. Apparently a 2-year waiting list for these in Japan, which is not surprising, but there you go. The new Toyota Land Cruiser, the actual car that Top Gear tested, so it obviously made it, didn't it? So it might be a touch frilly here and there, but this Honda Accord's a very, very early one. Looks like it's got a stock interior, and I think this is the one that's owned by Josh Gresswell. So Josh, who's got his own YouTube channel and far well known than Lot 76 Cars, but I'm pretty sure that's his car. Wow, excellent, he could make it here. Great to see a very late XJS here. Before the XK8. It's still got the original lights. Many haven't because they're quite expensive and people put the twin light US conversion on. Later cars had the less distinct flying buttresses and opened up the rear side windows a bit, but that's a bit of a handful in the snow. Got the original Appleyard of Rip and Jaguar dealer sticker in the back, and a very appropriate number plate. So originally launched at the Paris Motor Show in 2010 as a concept car and then maybe for production. Didn't actually make it, though the CX75 did actually make it onto a Bond movie as the villain's car, but they were never actually developed for road use until Ian Callum re-engineered this for a customer at must be huge expense. And this C-X75, to give its full title, is full road legal, and he's doing another one. So if you need to ask the price, you can't afford one, and that includes me. Beautiful though, isn't it? So this is the other end of the Callum range now, and it's the all-electric Callum Sky, a dedicated off-road vehicle, lots and lots of ground clearance. It is, I think, strictly speaking, is it a 2+2? We're just going to get a shot inside it here. Let's just have a look. Oh, absolutely. I mean, a properly developed interior for something that was very low production run. Haven't they done a great job? Recognise that steering wheel looks a bit jaggish, certainly in design, but that wouldn't be a surprise. Wow, that's lovely. Oh, and there is some space in the back as well. I guess that's packaging it on an EV platform, so there you go. That is the lovely, lovely, lovely Callum Sky. I've only seen a couple of these, but they certainly make an incredible presence, don't they? McLarens, yeah, we've got a few. Honestly, I find it difficult to tell the difference between these. Am I the only one? I don't know. I think the one at the back is the first one. That's the MP12C. Initially wasn't received that well, but actually looking like quite good value for money now. Stunning colour, that one, isn't it? Absolutely lovely. Yeah, there's the sort of money these are now, I'm sure they can find a market, can't they? Lovely. Kia Sportage. Well, this appeals to my weird side, this one. 09 plated 2009 original Kia plates. This is when Kia and Hyundai were developing some of their first vehicles together. There was the Sportage and the Hyundai version, which escapes my mind. Stick it in the comments. And you know what? It's a survivor. When is the last time you saw a Sportage? I bet it wasn't recently, guys, was it? That's incredible. So we've got here the championship winning Jaguar TWR Silk Cut XJR9 from 1988, when the company absolutely cleared the board and won the championship, including the Le Mans race. What an incredible car. Got a livery there, the Silk Cut livery. Clearly that's not a livery we can have on cars today, but doesn't that one look pretty epic? To see that championship winning car is something else, isn't it? Look at the faired-in wheels for aerodynamics, built in the Tom Walkinshaw days and John Egan days of Jaguar, and they took the flag. They really took away all the trophies. Fabulous. So this is an executive car treat, isn't it? It's an Alfa 164 built on the Type 4 platform, which spawned the Saab 9000 and Lancia Tamer, to name but two, along with the Fiat Chroma. Shouldn't forget that one. Alfa Romeo went their own way a little bit. It was a quick solution to a new large car for the company, which had based previous platforms on Alfettas of various generations, but in actual fact this particular car is a later facelift car. It does have different doors to the other Type 4 cars. Alfa went their own way on the doors apparently, But I tell you what, it's a brave soul that's brought this out in the snow and salty roads, but I'm glad they did, because it looks a flipping treat, doesn't it? All aluminium, outrageously expensive new. It's an Audi A8, or to be precise, it's actually an absolute road weapon. It's the S8, immensely powerful. Not worth huge amounts of money for the amount of performance you get with them, but what an incredible car. So former rally driver Malcolm Wilson owns M Sport up in Cumbria, runs a lot of the operations for Ford, and this is the M Sport Fiesta. And any illusions this is anything like a road car are pretty much lost if you look at the size of the arches on the car and the overall width of it. What an incredible car. Looks like it's seen a fair bit of action in there. Ivan Evans, what's that, Chris Parry? I can't remember. Fabulous, isn't it? So I saw this earlier and thought it was an Audi 80. In fact, no, it's not. It's an Audi 90. And it's the 2.2 litre 5-cylinder engine. Goodness, when's the last time you saw one of these? Especially a 90. I think all the time I've been doing YouTube, I've only seen maybe a couple of them. Absolutely, wow. Well, it's great. He's got, certainly he's a Quattro, he's got absolutely the right car today, and they put it in the right group here because it's next to an Impreza. Fabulous. Which would you choose? Put it in the comments. I'm absolutely loving this 911 What Super Carrera SC. It is a left-hand drive car. The colour, if you know that colour, please put me out of my misery and put it in the contents, because I absolutely love it. It's got the rear wiper on. This generation of 911 is just beautiful, isn't it? You know, irrespective of budget and all the resto mods for Porsche 911s, honestly, that would be my first pick. What would yours be? Put it in the comments. Well, we've got quite a collection here. We've got, I think that's the G Series M5 5 Series BMW. I am drawn to the E39 M5 generation car. This is in Oxford green. I think I've seen this car before. I don't know, which one would you have? Would you prefer something more modern with all the tech, or are you an E39 person? Please put that in the comments, and we'll see which car gets the most votes. They both look good, don't they? So it's great to see a bit of old Land Rover content, not Defender. I think this is Series 2, is it right? I'm not the expert on these. This one is interesting because it's the Marconi Fire Brigade, so don't be calling those today. I don't think Marconi Electronics exists anymore, and probably not their Fire Brigade either, but this one certainly has survived well, hasn't it? Or it doesn't look like it's been over restored either. Actually, it looks pretty original for me. Porsche 911 Dakar, not quite within budget, and you can't even get one anyway. Well, look at this, what Rough Roads Engineering have done. They've taken a 996 generation C4, so you've got the four-wheel drive to start with. They've given it, in this instance, a 60mm lift, but they can go higher, they tell me. And look what they've done. The fit and finish is absolutely spectacular on this car. You know, you wouldn't know that it wasn't something that had come out of the factory a few years ago. They really have done a cracking job. It's got the proper roof rack on the top with a spare wheel, give you a bit more space. They're going to build a limited run of these cars, and quite honestly, the sort of cost they're talking about, so the conversion itself about £50,000 on top of the base car, maybe a base car, what, £20,000, half the price of a Dakar. And look what you've got something that's pretty special and very, very exclusive. I absolutely love that one. That's probably my car of today. Now, I'm pretty sure this is the home-built Ford Cortina Mark II. I think it's a GT convertible, not a Crayford car. I'm sure I remember speaking to the owner a while ago, but he did a home conversion, didn't do a cracking job. There's something incredibly appealing about a fast estate, to me at least, and this RS6 in this menacing black or carbon finish looks incredible. I mean, there's not an awful lot of ground clearance with those wheels, I have to say. They're, what are they, 20s? Maybe even bigger than that. That's an incredible looking car, isn't it? Really menacing look, but really useful as an estate car. I do like that. Not a splitty, but nevertheless a lovely VW combi. Is that the official term, combi? I don't know. I'm thinking on my feet here. Always dangerous, but doesn't it look great? It looks a bit careworn in places, and that just adds to the charm. Isn't it charming? Get in the back and get a cup of tea on. It's freezing here. Alpha GTV. I don't know if it's the 3-litre Busso version, but it's lovely, isn't it? What, why 1982? I think based on the Alfetta platform anyway. They used to use spin quite a few cars off one platform, and the Alfetta was one that was used quite a lot, but it's in really good condition, isn't it? I often see white ones as well. So this is a rare one. It's an Isuzu V-Cross, or V-Cross, I'm not quite sure, based on the Trooper, Japanese domestic market, given away a little bit by the mirror there. Built only for, I think, for about 3 or 4 years. Sort of coupe styling, really way out there styling, isn't it? Something quite attractive about these. All of these are pretty much imports from Japan. The styling's as radical at the back as it is at the front. So let's have a quick look inside, see what one of these is like. Got those interesting door design, and inside a bit more conventional inside, sort of relatively standard inside there, low range. Got a bit of passenger space in the back. Wow. Well, there you go. That's, I doubt you'll see too many of those. Absolutely fabulous, isn't it? So one of the so-called Pagoda SL Mercedes, I think these are about just 62 years old since launch, something like that. Launched at Geneva Motor Show, absolutely wowed the crowds there, and still today lots of celebrity owners. I think even David Coulthard has got one of these. But what a very elegant, beautiful car. It's the 280 SL. I think the 280 was built in relatively no numbers, but that was lovely, isn't it? So this is what, E21 3 Series, have I got that right? I'm thinking on my feet here, I'm getting myself. It's lovely though, isn't it? It's the 2-door. In this instance it is a 320. These were supposed to be a bit wayward at the back end. The 320 I think was a carburettor car. I don't think injection in this generation of car. I love how that strip goes across the back. Very high loading for the boot. Beautiful colour in this sage green, cloth trim, manual. Something about these sort of sharp nosed cars, and also I think the E12 5 Series of this generation, that just make them look so lovely, don't they? Really distinctive design, that sort of forward facing sharp nose. So being rear wheel drive, some of these cars are ripe for modification, and this 940, a development of the original 7 Series. They changed the styling at the back, sort of put a bit more angle. Well, it was difficult not to put a bit more angle on the rear of the car, and that's what they came up with. So it looks like this one's modded. It's certainly low, and next to it we've got an E36 BMW, but badge 340i. Has it really got the V8 engine in there? Possibly so. It does look good in this. It's either Oxford green or Boston green. I can't make my mind up yet. And doesn't it look lovely? I'm liking that one. Liking that one quite a lot, to be honest with you. I bet it goes if it really is a 4-litre. So another treat, we're completing the set. Now this is the injected version. It's the 323i. Now do remember these were a bit wayward at the back end. Quite a lot of power. Obviously rear wheel drive. 2-door only, coupe style body. Factory sunroof. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? Got those sort of Alpina stylish alloys. That is a treat. Talbot Sunbeam Lotus, based on an Avenger platform, the original Sunbeam, originally a Chrysler and then latterly a Talbot. This one's got both. It's a bit confused. It's got a Talbot badge and it's also got a Chrysler badge, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Incredibly successful rally cars. Very short gestation period for the development of these as the standard car, not the Lotus version. I think 18 months or something to develop it from the Avenger platform, and it was a success, particularly as a rally car. And it's a pre-facelift car. That looks pretty distinctive as well. I'd certainly find room for one of those. Is it a Porsche? Is it a VW? Well, it's the Porsche badge version of the 914 4-cylinder, also a 916 Corporation. I don't think officially ever sold in the UK. A two-seater, a bit sort of like an early X19 in many ways. Starting to become appreciated. I think Shmi's having one of these restored on the channel on YouTube at the moment, but it's a pretty car, particularly in that blue colour. Doesn't it look good? I like that one as well. Probably one of the most highly regarded S-Class Mercedes, S or Sonder class or Special class. This one's been modified and it's the W140 series S-Class. Look at those wheels on it. My God, they're something else, aren't they? Now, I'm not really a massive fan of modern cars, but in some ways, this, apart from the wheels, this one looks reasonably standard. Maybe it's got a drop on the suspension. Early cars had parking poles rather than parking sensors. This one's probably got the sensors, I suspect, and you need them on a car that big. What a way to travel. Not an expensive car to buy either these days. Lovely. Want a Hummer? Yeah, we got one of those as well. 6.5 litre Hummer. Turbo diesel. Yeah, we've got one just to prove what an eclectic mix of cars we have here today. We've got a Hummer. I mean, good Lord. This car looks almost as wide as it is long. It certainly feels that way, isn't it? Apparently it's for sale, £42,500. If you want to dig deep, you too can have one of these. You certainly will have a look around the other side as well. You appreciate the used diesel fuel only, and yeah, I bet it uses a lot of diesel fuel. In fact, there's, looking at this, there's 2 tanks, 2 fuel caps. You probably need them, don't you? So there you go, just 13,500 miles, and you too could have a Hummer for 42.5 grand. So this may well be for sale. It's outside Hangar 36. Looks like a competition prepared Datsun, I think it's 240 Zed. The Zed cars, incredible cars. They were quite expensive as imported cars due to import duties back many years ago, and this particular one survived quite well. A lot of it, I think, made more expensive even than an E-Type. But this one survived rather well, hasn't it? Badged as Datsun before the Nissan days, early days. It is a left-hand drive car, so it's probably come from sunnier climes. It's certainly got a hell of a competition history, hasn't it? You look at the badges it's picked up along the way, and a couple of decent spotlights to supplement those relatively old halogen lamps on the front. Probably not even halogen, are they? Tungsten. So elsewhere in the video you'll see the brand new Land Cruiser, but this is a much older generation. It looks like it might have been imported because it's got the twin lights. I don't think UK cars had that many of these, just simply rotted away. But this is how the Land Cruiser first came to prominence. Interesting looking interior there. Looks like the seats have been changed. Doesn't match the door cards, but I suspect it's had quite a bit of a life. Oh, it does look in good condition, doesn't it? Ready for work. Incredible. So Colin Chapman's stab at a GT car. I think Oliver Winterbottom might have designed this. I'll pause on that one. Maybe you can put that in the comments if that's the case. Now, these were badged 501, 502, and I think 503 according to the levels of equipment. Now, this particular one is the base of the range, if you can say such a thing. It's a 501. I think in 503 form it had things like automatic transmission, air conditioning and things like this. Eminently usable hatchback. This one in actual fact is an auto as well. That's a cracking colour, isn't it, for one of those? I have to be honest, I can find a lot more affection from the Silver Shadow in this later car. A bit of a wipers on lights moment there than I can on the current generation, to tell you the truth. There's particular ones for sale. It looks classy, it's, you know, Probably not driven by a rap star or somebody who thinks they're a social influencer. The people who had these really had a bob or two behind them, or thought they had anyway. Epic looking cars, aren't they? Really classy looking car, and that one's for sale. I don't know the price, but actually I can see the appeal. I really can. Yes, it's an MGB, I hear you crying. We've seen many of those. You have, but isn't this absolutely beautiful? In this sort of beige taupe, here in a beige, it just looks so right. It's got darkened wheels, darkened wire wheels. Something just looks right about that Pininfarina design. I make no apologies for including MGB GT there. It absolutely deserves to be in the video. Supercar, isn't it? So we've got a lovely E38 7 Series, and this one's a 750IL long wheelbase V12, driven I think by Pierce Brosnan on remote control from his phone or something ridiculous like that in one of the Bond movies. And before I fall over in the mud, and there's plenty of it here, we'll give you a shot of the back. It's for sale for 12.5 grand. I shall just focus in on that. You can freeze the video if you're interested in buying it. Well, it's one heck of a lot of car for the money, isn't it? So it's soggy underfoot, it's now raining on top of everything else, and it's cold, and I'm fed up. But honestly, a Porsche Carrera GT, that's worth coming for, isn't it, really? There can't be too many of these in the UK, I suspect. I couldn't afford one, I'll never drive one, but you know what? At least I can look at one, and so can you. Beautiful, isn't it? That's a very lovely 328 GTS Ferrari. Great to see one that isn't red. That's a beautiful blue colour, isn't it? Absolutely lovely. Are those Campagno wheels? I'm not quite sure. They do look great though, don't they? What small diameter wheels. And like many of the cars here, thankfully the owners decided to bring it out in the rain and the snow. Well, we're very thankful to see that one, aren't we? So this is one of 99 Lister, I think LFS 666. The 666 I know is for the horsepower, the devilishly high horsepower, sorry about the pun. It's got the Lister badges here, and also the famous Lister logo on the wheel. Looks relatively standard and subtle, but I bet it isn't. It's got, instead of where F-Type is on the back, or Jag is on the back, it's got Lister. If it wasn't raining so hard, you'd be able to see it a bit better, but there you go, a Lister F-Type 666. So thanks again for joining me on Lot 76 Cars from the Bicester Scramble. Please like, share, subscribe, click on notifications to be informed of my next video, and once again, as always, thanks for watching.